Frankie was telling me off mic. He said, Jesus, God, Buddha, Allah, let me live until May of 2023 so that I can experience Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. He said, I loved Breath of the Wild so much. Just please let me live until May.
They start you off on a plateau, and the wonder of looking across those digital shitty pastel mountains and looking like a shitty digital version, like a Twilight Princess version of Link, and saying, wow, all the shrines I'm gonna do. I love it when my weapons break, and I love cooking. Fuck that game, dude. This is my heel turn. You know, there's a famous, very unliked moment in wrestling when it was Rock versus Austin. Austin teams up with Vince McMahon, gives the stunner. That's kind of the podcast equivalent of turning on Breath of the Wild. I've never been all that vocal about hating Breath of the Wild, and the truth is, I don't really have much of a right to hate it. I played it for about 2 hours, and not on the Switch, but on the Wii U. I bought it for Wii U before I had a Switch, but I was kind of excited going into it because obviously it was a fresh take on Zelda, and they were saying like it's going to be like Zelda 1, you know, where like you don't really know what the fuck to do, which I'm like, do I like? Because I love Zelda 1, but I'm like, would I like that from scratch? Because when I was a child, it's very different than being an adult. And I played it for about 2 hours. Here are the things I remember. I don't like that I'm blue.
Green or nothing.
I want to look like Link. Would that be okay? Or is that something I have to earn after 40 hours?
Only 40?
You can, when you scale, like, I kept like running into like mountainsides where I'm like, I'd like to get over this mountain to go to where I'm going. And so I try to scale it and I wouldn't have enough energy. And yeah, the feeling of like not having a proper weapon, like one that I could actually rely upon, was kind of frustrating. And I ran. People say there weren't very many graphics cutscenes. I ran into a few cutscenes. They all just look like that swirly magic purple shit. Everything to me looks horrible in that game. I have to admit. This is really gonna play great online.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the game much more than Frankie.
You loved it.
No, let me try to think if I loved it.
You ate it up.
I did eat it up. I liked it. I played it a lot. You know, I had a newborn. You have the Switch and the newborn sleeping on you, and you can, like, I don't know, blast him with some, like, Switch radiation while he's sleeping. And, and I'm into those little puzzle boxes. Like, I don't mind the shrines. I kind of wish they had more visual variety, but, like, you know, I'm a fan of Lolo. I'm a fan of a bunch of puzzles. So that really... I don't know, it charmed me at the time. I liked the exploration aspect. I actually liked the world that it kind of... I like the exploration aspect.
Can I ask you, like, do you spend a lot of time running? Like, I'm going to get to my digital location.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. And you get horses too. You get horses, and
that
you glide. You go up. You have to you climb slowly up a mountain, then you glide. Hey, in this new one, they're gonna do the Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts thing, and I guess they have cars now.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I mean, look,
cars.
I certainly understand. Yeah, cars. If you love that game, and I understand, obviously, a lot of craftsmanship, and clearly it had a lot of fans. And you know, it's not fair, obviously, to shit on it all that much. It's just not my cup of tea. But I'm going like, the average person who enjoyed that game played it for 100 hours or something, and then to be like, here's more of it.
Yeah, I can't say I'm really that excited, and it doesn't seem they showed off a lot of it. Like, but by this time. Like, they've showed off, like, gameplay trailers or large gameplay sections of Breath of the Wild, and I feel like I know nothing about this game.
Like, what do you suppose is the distinguishing factor besides cars?
I don't know. It seems like it's just more. Which, you know, will be fine. I'll try it out.
But more is just more shrines, more platforms, more pushing balls around like an idiot.
I think it's going to be more of that.
This is how you get your kicks.
I mean, if there's more puzzles and more adventure, I will play it.
Oh my god.
and I'll probably enjoy it. And yeah. This is like a cilantro argument. It tastes like soap to you. I think it's delicious.
Oh, most people seem to think it's the Breath of the Wild is delicious. But as I was watching it's funny, right before we started rolling, I was listening to, that fucking blue puppet Arlo.
Oh yeah.
He does like video game reviews, and he always trots out this kind of melodramatic, like, sometimes folks, it's really hard to be a Nintendo fan. But today, it was an exceptional Nintendo Direct. Exceptional. I assume he's talking about Metroid Prime, the remaster, an HD remaster of an old game.
Yeah, it's Metroid Prime was very exciting to me because one, it's a way more elaborate remaster than I thought. It's all the textures have been redone, some of the models have been redone, the lighting has been redone, so it looks gorgeous. It's probably one of the most gorgeous Switch games I've ever seen, and like the art style holds up really well at 2 decades later.
Yeah. Do you think I'd like those games, knowing what you know about me?
No. Like, don't even bother. I mean, if you
tried
can't
playing the Wii one.
Yeah, you couldn't get through like a little bit of Zero Mission. Don't even bother.
So fucking boring. It really. I mean, I played it for like an hour, and I was like, I got to go back up through this thing. Like, god damn it! I find myself like, in these Metroidvania games, you start backtracking. I'm like, I end up backtracking in the same spot a million times. I'm like, most people would have progressed by now, and I'm just not. And I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, Metroid Prime was kind of a special game, though. It was like 7 years after Super Metroid, which is an eternity for somebody who's young. And now it's just like, it's been 6 years since Breath of the Wild, and that feels like it's a new game. But that was a huge deal because we didn't even think Metroid was going to keep going, and then they come out with something that I think rivals Super Metroid in a lot of ways. The music is great. Just the world that they created, because an important part of Metroid is having a world that is its own character as it is. So having a world that rivals the character of Super Metroid was really good. The sound.
It seemed like a cool transition to 3D.
Yeah, a really well thought out. It was kind of the best case scenario following up to like a classic like Super Metroid. So it's great to play it again. I love it on the Switch. Seems like they put a ton of work into it. And so I'm really, I love that part of the Direct. The rest of the Direct, to me, it makes me question if I even like video games because
that's like, what I was feeling. I was like, I'm so old and boring.
Because like Pikmin 4, I liked one of the Pikmin. I think it was Pikmin 2. I thought that was pretty...
you play those games? I've never even touched one.
They're like strategy games, so I don't know if you would... Almost like, like resource and strategy almost.
Like I see like, I Advance Wars 1 and 2, like remember they announced that last year. And then it's Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Are you talking about a DLC?
No, it's the game. It was delayed because of the Ukraine war. Because it's a game about war.
Oh, okay. I mean, Splatoon 3. What do you suppose the difference is between a Splatoon 1, a Splatoon 2, and a Splatoon 3?
I think Splatoon 3 is already out, and this is DLC, I believe.
Okay, so
I'm not a huge Splatoon. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this Direct that's not for me. Like I like one of the Pikmins, but it's not something I really want to play right now. There's a ton of those anime games which look like I don't know, like only perverts like. I can't get into it. And then, obviously, there's no offense to anime fans or Japanese RPG fans, but there's sometimes it's like
sometimes it just looks like you're getting off a little too much.
So it's not for me. It's not for me. When they pulled out Metroid Prime, I was like, oh, finally something. Finally some good fucking food. But
we were watching it together on Discord, and they popped up with a Mickey Mouse Disney Illusion Island game or something that was like just like a Mickey platformer, and everybody all at once was like, oh, Frankie, do you like that? At least I'm like, I do. I can get into it.
I will check it out.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC.
Yeah,
The theme for me all night was I don't know the difference between real games and DLC. I don't like when they're like return to Kirby's Dream Pack. I'm like, what do you
like, yeah,
what are you
sometimes
watching?
I'm confused about what has already been released and what's updates to games because I'm so far behind.
Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. That looks the graphics look like fucking Newgrounds Flash. It looks really bad. Sorry.
I feel that way about a lot of indie games where it's just like it's too fluid. It's
like the NES games look better. Like they have more atmosphere and more character for sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, at least make it look as good as like the DS ones, right? But why are they making an indie? Why is Konami making an indie Castlevania game? I don't understand. You can't get a couple of bucks together.
I don't know. And they must have maybe the indie developer like pitched it to Konami because Konami's not really making much. I think they're just doing pachinko machines or something right now. And then they re-release like the Ninja Turtle games in a compilation sometimes.
Like, here's another example. We Love Katamari Reroll.
That's a remake of We Love Katamari, which was a game on either PlayStation 2 or 3. I forget which one.
But then the next announcement is Katamari Damacy Reroll now has a free trial. So there's two rerolls.
Yeah, there's Katamari Damacy. The first one, they're giving you a demo, I guess, on Nintendo or a trial or whatever it is. So it's confusing. It's confusing
and am I the only one who, when I go to I'll buy a game, a year or two later there'll be some DLC, and I can't sometimes it's obvious, but sometimes I can't figure out how to get the DLC into my existing purchase without rebuying the whole game accidentally.
It's an interesting thing with these directs because we were talking on the Discord. Like, do you think these companies are paying Nintendo to get on these things, and that's why there's sometimes very embarrassing software being displayed? Or do you think Nintendo has them pitched to them, and then they pick what they think are the best ones or variety, trying to get that whole 3 quadrants of the perverts, the anime perverts. It's the
I'm just gonna name a few titles, and I want to see if your dick moves even a little bit, right?
Okay.
Samba de Amigo Party Central.
No, I think that's a rhythm game of some sort. I believe. I don't know.
I don't know.
It sounds
a Sega game.
I remember there used to be it was a Dreamcast. They had maraca controllers. Back in the day, but I guess you just used the Joy-Con.
I mean, take a bite of this. Fire Emblem Engage expansion passes DLC Wave 2.
Well, that's Fire Emblem Engage was a game that was released, I think, or either earlier this year or last year, and this is just the second wave of DLC.
Yeah, this is Wave 2. This is going to include classic characters Hector, Soren, and Camilla. Camilla, the fucking chicken from Gonzo, the Muppets. Wave 3 will include Crom and Robin. I'm excited and Veronica. I'm real excited for that one. And
Crom is in Super Smash Brothers. You should know him. He's one of the many sordid anime boys in that game.
Wave 4 will introduce new story content titled Fell Xenologue. Yeah, to me, this is I don't know what anyone's talking about. Can I throw a few others out there?
This is just out of touch dads talk about Nintendo Direct.
Let's talk about our sump pumps. I mean, I'm sitting there waiting for Mario Odyssey 2, you know?
and that's what I'm here for. I got mine with Metroid Prime Remaster. That was more than I ever wanted. It was available. What makes me hard when they say it's available right afterwards.
Yeah, that is good stuff.
It's great. It's like the Apple thing where it's like you could download it right now, you know?
That's great. What Arlo said. He's like, and there were really the theme of tonight was now, right now. And I just love that Nintendo did that.
And you could get Game Boy games that you can play on your Ambernick device.
I know. I'm like, pa-ching. I'm trying to imagine anybody giving a shit that they can emulate Game Boy.
I did download it. It is pretty fun. If you like
Get out of here! I don't want to hear it.
No, if you have no like interest in looking at Ambernick devices, it's not a bad experience. Like they have options to make it look like pixely and blurry if you wanted to, or you can change the emulator. It's more effort than I thought they would do.
Listen, don't be a punk. Get your ass on Amazon. $97, a RG351V, a little micro SD card, and you're going to be gaming for the rest of your life. You'll never be able to get through them all. And it's going to be so good. You have a million options. You just have to do a little education. But yeah, fair enough. It's cool. I probably the Game Boy thing I thought was the most exciting part of it for me. Or I was like, that's something I can download. But
Tears of the Kingdom? Not Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh, I just couldn't give a fuck.
Cars!
Of course, everybody in Discord loves it. And so I really
hammed it up. You hammed it up.
Yeah, I started posing as the villain big time. I started giving everybody stunners, talking trash about Tears of the Kingdom. But they were like, it looks really good. And I just shared like a picture of just like Link on some dumpy looking horse. I was like, to me, that's what the whole thing looks like. I don't get it. Like Wind Waker to me looked infinitely better than this game.
That's true. I think Wind Waker has more like lasting style. It's very iconic. Like
Minish Cap is more my thing than this.
Well, you got Minish Cap right on your Nintendo Ambernick device.
Again, this blue perverted puppet Arlo. He felt that Nintendo knew that there was an expectation to put Game Boy Online, and that everybody would feel let down if they didn't then also do Game Boy Advance, and it would be a very Nintendo thing to not follow through and do Game Boy Advance, and that was like the troll was like, oh, and actually we do have Game Boy Advance. And, I don't know.
Oh, it was definitely a fun surprise. I mean, if we're already paying for this service, it's good to have something else to download, I guess. So
I'm trying to think. I mean, here's the question. What would they have had to release to excite me? I guess a new Mario of any kind. You know, I'm very basic.
I was hoping for like a Mario Odyssey 2 or something, or Galaxy something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even a remake of or a remaster of Galaxy 2 would be enough for me.
Oh yeah, that would be great. A Sonic Mania 2 would really get me straight off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, Sega does their own little thing at this point. Maybe that would be fun to tune into.
Oh, they're releasing a Sonic the Hedgehog cookbook. I saw on Amazon.
I saw that, and you were like a little intrigued.
I'm a little intrigued. I might get it and make a video about it.
I mean, is the whole thing chili dogs, or is it just
chili dogs? There's like a milkshake that looks like blue Sonic cum. But
I finally had one of the blue raspberry. Between like the gumball eyes, like you don't want to be like chomping on green gumballs with your ice cream.
It's like shattering in your mouth.
Blue raspberry is not my personal favorite, so but it was the novelty of just having a Sonic Pop was pretty fun.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.